It is time for questions and answers.
All right. Yep. Yeah, I can hear.
If we need to, we can turn the swamp cooler down. Maybe a little. It would help.
That's better.
That is better. Okay. Our first question this evening is, Rinpoche says we should picture all male sentient beings as Avalokiteshvara and all females as Tara. Can you further explain the importance of this?
What? Explain what?
Explain why we visualize or see people, males and females.
Okay, because this is part of the tantric practice to maintain or to practice pure perception. If you view the male as an ordinary male, then you have an ordinary perception regarding that individual, and therefore there is a big possibility to develop hatred for that person, and aversion for that person. So when you visualize male and female as deities like Chandrasekhar, Avalokiteshvara and Tara, then in the mind there is no source for developing negative emotions towards the male and female individuals. So this is a part of the pure practice of pure perception. In the Tantra, like I said before, everything is divine in nature, even the elements.
Our next question is, in Lama Chopa, who is the Yidam deity? Who is the Yidam deity we are supposed to be taking on?
Okay, so it depends. Whatever Yidam deity you are practicing, you can visualize yourself in the form of that deity. It may be Chakra Samvara, it may be Vajrayogini, it may be Guya Samaja, it may be Kala Chakra, or it may be simply Tara or Avalokiteshvara. So it depends on the individual. So, in the Lama Chopa, is a Rangi Kijik Idam Harsalve. In an instant, I visualize myself in the form of the Idam. Yeah, first you visualize yourself in the form of the Idam, and then you visualize Jigten Sumgon with all the retinues in the front. Right? So that Idam can be different from, for each individual. All Idam are same.
Can Khenpo explain the 3 realms, sometimes 6 realms, the text refers to?
Okay. The 3 realms are the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. Okay. So we are in the desire realm. Why we are in the desire realm? Because desire is the most powerful emotion in us. Desire is, driving us. Okay, we have sexual desire. We have desire for the sense objects, very strong, very raw desire. In the form realm, their desire is very mild. The negative emotions, as you go higher and higher, that they become less and less, destructive. Okay, so in our level, our desire is very strong, and because of that, we develop the other negative emotions very easily. So when you don't fulfill your desire, you feel upset, angry. Yeah? When somebody gets more than what you desire for yourself, you feel jealous, right? So desire is like the center, and it gives rise to all other negative emotions. And in the form realm, they don't have like a body. They have a body of light. The body is also not so solid and like full of flesh and blood like ours. It's another kind of body. Okay, and in the formless realm, it is pure consciousness. There's no physical form. Yeah, so when we talk about karma, there are 3 types of karma: positive karma, negative karma, and unwavering karma. Positive karma means good karma, what we know as good karma. Negative karma, we know that. Unwavering karma means, the practice of meditative absorption, meditation, like shamatha meditation, okay, in which we keep our mind one-pointedly focused, right? So that is also a karma. By doing meditation, we create this 3rd karma, which is the unwavering karma. Unwavering means the mind is not wavering. Okay, the mind is one-pointed. Dhyana. In Sanskrit, they call it dhyana. Dhyana means attention, right? So, if we create the unwavering karma, then we take birth in the desire realm, and the form realm. And then when the meditation is deeper, we take birth in the formless realm. The higher we go, the less destructive our negative emotions are, less in number, and it's very, harmless kind of negative emotions. Yeah. So when we combine that dhyana, the meditation, with the view of emptiness and the practice of bodhicitta, then this unwavering karma becomes a cause for enlightenment. If it is only, non-distraction only, then it can take us up to the top of samsara, which is the formless realm, the top of formless realm, but not beyond that. To go beyond samsara, the Buddha taught the path. To reach to the top of samsara, this method is available in many religions, not only Buddhism. What the Buddha taught extra is the view of emptiness and love and compassion and bodhicitta. So therefore, in Buddhism, when we meditate, our purpose is not to be born in the higher realm of samsara. Purpose is to go beyond that.
Can you briefly list the 5 afflictive emotions, their antidotes, and what each afflicting emotion transforms into?
Okay. So the 5 negative emotions are attachment, anger, ignorance, pride, jealousy. Attachment, anger, ignorance, pride, and jealousy. So The antidote to attachment is generosity. The antidote to anger is patience. The antidote to ignorance is wisdom. The antidote to pride is equanimity. The antidote to jealousy is rejoicing. And when the negative emotions are transformed, they become in the tantric concept, become the 5 wisdoms and the 5 Buddha families. For example, I don't remember all of them, but some of them I remember right now. For example, when ignorance is transformed, it becomes the wisdom of Dharmadhatu. Okay, and when anger is transformed, it becomes the mirror-like wisdom. So I don't remember correctly. So therefore, actually, it is quite easy nowadays to find that. Even if you Google, you can find.
Why does the mind grasp in the first place? Why does it grasp?
Mm-hmm. So you see, if you talk about this life, why we are grasping, it's because of our habit in grasping from many lifetimes. And if you say from what point of time we started grasping, then it is like trying to find the beginning of samsara, right? So it is not possible. It's like a ring, yeah. So samsara is like an illusion. Okay, you have a incense stick, you spin and it creates a circle, right? It creates a circle, but the circle actually doesn't exist. So if something doesn't exist, how can it have a beginning, right? So therefore, this is like asking about like from where samsara started.
Why does each Guru Yoga sadhana have the 7 limb prayer? Are they written differently based on the Guru?
Yeah. So the 7 limb prayers, they are very important for accumulating merit. And merit is very important for developing, love, compassion, wisdom, devotion to the Guru. It is like everything has interdependent nature. Okay, so therefore the great enlightened beings kind of designed this system of 7 limb prayer. It was made very popular in the Kadampa tradition first, okay, in Tibet, the Atisha tradition. And Jigten Sumgon was also a regular practitioner of the 7 limb prayers. That's why he wrote this very beautiful, profound 7 limb prayer text from the tantric point of view. So Jigten Sumgon used to say, I am a yogi of the 7 limb prayers. Okay, so the different texts from different tradition have a different writing, like this 7 limb prayer written in different styles. So it's not like standard. Enlightened beings, they compose the 7 limb prayer themselves, from their own mind. For example, in this text, the author wrote a 7 limb prayer which is very different from the others, but the 7 limbs are the same. The words are slightly different. So the question was, the purpose is for accumulating merit.
So the next question is about taking refuge. We'll have a refuge vow this evening. Can you please describe the ceremony of taking refuge? What do we need to know, and what are we going to do?
Okay, so taking refuge is, the ceremony is very simple, you know. Refuge can be received from any Rinpoche, any Lama. So you make 3 prostrations and you request for the refuge vow, and the Lama takes a little piece of hair from you. And in case of Garchen Rinpoche, he keeps all the hair in one little pocket, and then he puts the hair all together in very holy places with lots of aspirations, lots of prayers. And then you repeat after the refuge master, you know, saying that I take refuge in the Buddha as the teacher, the Dharma is the path, and the Sangha is the companion on the path. You repeat that and 3 times, and that's it. But usually the path of Dharma, according to the Sutrayana, it begins with the sense of renunciation. Renunciation means the determination to be free from samsara, right? So you have seen samsara quite a lot, and you are kind of convinced that, you know, it is not the best place to be, right? So you also kind of figure out that there is a way out, there is a way to be free from samsara, there is a way to be enlightened. So because of this discovery and the determination, you know, you come to take refuge. So when you take refuge at the beginning, it feels like the Buddha is like outside, like a god, okay? And then Dharma is the teaching, and Sangha are the people wearing robes, yeah? So these are conventional Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, okay? So that is like the outer objects of refuge. For example, Buddha Shakyamuni is the conventional outer Buddha, and his teachings are, you know, the conventional Dharma, and the arahats around the Buddha. These are like the conventional Sangha. So when we say Sangha, Sanghas are, you know, only the arahats and the bodhisattvas on the bhumis. Yeah. So, but then when you go deeper into it, then the Guru points out Buddha is your own mind. Okay, Buddha is your own pure nature. When you say at the beginning, I take refuge in the Buddha, the mind is going out to someone. But when you reach to the higher level, I take refuge in the Buddha means I trust in my own purity. My protector is my own true nature. I take refuge in the Dharma. It means, you know, I take refuge in love and compassion for all sentient beings. And love and compassion for all sentient beings are not like newly learned Dharma. It is the Dharma of your nature. Dharma means the law. It is the law. If you recognize your Buddha nature, then it has its own world, and its world has its own law. And that law is the law of love and compassion. There is no ego involved. Okay, so and then when you have these 2 qualities, you are a Sangha already. So Buddha Dharma, taking refuge in the Buddha Dharma and Sangha is not a journey outside, but a journey back inside. One moment, please. And also, one of the unique, quality, if I can say, of the Buddha and his teaching is, Buddha teach the Dharma to even become free from the teaching. You know, in the world, people are fighting for religion. But Buddha teach the Dharma and to become even free from the Dharma. Right? In the first field of Dharma, the Buddha says there is suffering, and there is a cause of suffering. There is a possibility to end suffering, and there is a method to do that. This is the Four Noble Truths. He agrees with the world. Yes, you have suffering. Okay? And then in the Heart Sutra, he says, there is no suffering. There is no cause of suffering. There is no cessation. If there is no suffering, how can there be cessation of suffering? Right? And there is no path. So the Buddha says, the conventional relative Dharma is like a boat. You just use it to cross. Once you cross, if you carry the boat, it is suffering.
Rinpoche talked this morning about when we recite the mantra in the evening and wake up in the morning with the first thought of the deity being a sign of the bardo.
Yep. So it is like this. This morning Rinpoche didn't say, but in the past, Rinpoche used to say, like, he used to distribute this small mala that you can put around your wrist. So Rinpoche used to give advice to some disciples. When you go to sleep, hold the mala in your hand and, visualize yourself as a deity, if possible, Tara, Avalokiteshvara, and recite Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme. And in this recitation, you fall asleep with the mala in your hand, in your bed. Okay? And then, as you do this regularly, a time comes when you open your eyes and you continue to say Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme. This is the first thought. Okay? So that is an indication that throughout the sleep, you were continuously in that thought of the deity and the recitation. So our state of sleep is, similar to death. We are 90% dead when we sleep, right? And then when we wake up, that is similar to how we die and then emerge in the intermediate state. Okay? So, for example, maybe I can talk a little more about this. It is interesting. So, in the Poa teachings, they talk about the luminosity, the mother luminosity and the child luminosity. Okay, so the mother luminosity is, for example, what you practice right now, the nature of mind. If you realize the nature of mind, Mahamudra in this life, okay, that means your mind knows itself as it is. Okay, or you know yourself as you are. So when we die, our conceptions kind of shut down. It's like a computer shutting down. One by one, the files close, and shut down. And it becomes, like a blackout. That is called death. Okay, so that is like the sleep state. And then this consciousness and come back, you restart the computer, then it starts to open again, right? Likewise, after the blackout, when it regains consciousness, so to speak, the first moment is unpolluted, without any defilement. Okay, so now if that consciousness which reappear has experience of luminosity now, then it in that first moment is recognized by itself, and it's enlightenment. So this is like a mother recognizing the child. So therefore it's called the mother and child luminosity meeting. But if we have no experience of our nature of mind, if we just die like an ordinary being, the luminosity appear and pass. We don't even realize. So to explain this, the late Sogyal Rinpoche used an example, and I like it. So maybe I can tell you. So he says, like if you go to the airport to wait for someone, yeah, and if you just, if somebody describes the person and you go with that, then the person comes and walks in front of you, you don't even know, right? You don't even know. You have seen, but it's equal to not seeing. But if you go with the picture, okay, if you go with the picture of that person, then you can, you have the picture and you can identify that person. Likewise, the picture is like what you practice, now. If you have that picture, when you die and reappear, or find yourself in the intermediate state, the first moment is luminosity. The luminosity recognize the luminosity, and that is, attaining Dharmakaya in the intermediate state. So Rinpoche was referring to that. So if you have the experience of waking up and the first moment is Om Mani Padme Hum, you will be successful in the second stage of the Pardo. Successful means you can attain enlightenment if the first stage fail, then you come to the second and the third, and there is a process, yeah.
There's a continuation of this question. I wake up often at night in the morning and perceive how I recite the mantra of Vajra Yogini or Tara. Can you comment on this? The question may be, and if the person is here and asks the question,
wake up in the middle of the night and find him or herself reciting the mantra?
Correct. I think the question is, does it matter what the mantra is?
The mantra doesn't matter. The mantra doesn't matter.
Yes.
Works? Yeah. I often wake up at night or in the morning, and the first thought, or not even a thought, ¿cómo se dice? Me doy cuenta en mí. I realize myself counting mantras. Mm-hmm. And it's in my case it's Vajra Yogini or Tara, but
yeah, the mantra doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It can be Tara, it can be Vajra Yogini, it can be, it can be also, I think it can be also like a visualization. Yeah, if you visualize yourself as Tara and then you fall asleep and you open your eyes and you feel like you are Tara, it's the same. All mantras are, it's like different kinds of drinks, Coca-Cola and lemonade, water. All of them do the same job, quench your thirst. Okay? So, mantra doesn't matter.
How to face the fear of death? What is a good standard to face death?
Yeah, so I think by understanding, yeah. So if you think you are the body, and if you are too strong in that thought, then there is fear of death. Okay, the body has, the body dies. Yeah, the consciousness is beyond death. The consciousness is formless. It doesn't die. Okay, so if you think of yourself more as a physical body, then there can be fear. But if you know that the body is like a piece of cloth, it is like 37 Bodhisattva practices, it is like a guest house, right? So if you think from that point of view, then death is not a big deal. The mind does not get old. It is always fresh and young, right? So you leave the body, you get another one. We have enough karma for that. Don't worry.
Sometimes I have strong devotions to Rinpoche when at home or around people who need help. When Rinpoche passes, will it still feel like he comes when I call for him?
Can you repeat that? I didn't understand
Yes.
the beginning.
Sometimes I have strong devotions to Rinpoche when at home or around people who need help. When Rinpoche passes, will it still feel like he comes when I call for him?
Definitely. Rinpoche was teaching every day. He was saying, that Buddhas are always there, present. We need the devotion and compassion and love. Yeah? Dharmakaya is all pervasive. I can tell you the story of Asanga. Asanga was in a cave for 12 years, meditating to have a vision of Maitreya. 12 years, he couldn't see, he did not have even a good sign. And he left the cave many times. He left and he met somebody, he met somebody cleaning a rod. And Asanga asked, what are you doing? He said, I want to turn this into a needle. It was huge and he wanted to turn. And Asanga thought, this man is so determined for such a useless thing. And I quit so easily. He went back to the cave, and 12 years he meditated. And after 12 years, he gave up again. And then when he was coming down on the way, he saw a female dog with maggots, infested with maggots. He looked at the dog and felt tremendous compassion, very powerful compassion. He wanted to save the dog, but also not kill the maggots. So he thought what to do. So he closed his eyes and he used his tongue to remove the maggots. As he was trying to do that, his tongue was not touching the dog. He opened his eyes. Maitreya was standing in front of him. And he said, for 12 long years I called upon you. You did not come. Why? And Maitreya said, I have been always there in front of you because of the lack of your compassion. You couldn't see me. If you don't believe me, look at my clothes. Asanga was, spitting and throwing his nuts, and all landed on Maitreya's robe. And Maitreya said, if you don't believe me, carry me on your shoulder, walk in the village, and tell people, what do you see on my shoulder? So he went. Most people said, this man is crazy. There's nobody on his shoulder. What are you talking about? But there was one old woman. She said, there is a dog on your shoulder. She could see at least the dog, So yeah, that this story is a good answer, I think, for the question.
Why is green Tara green?
Okay, so you see now these five afflictive emotions, the five Buddha families, the five elements, and the five wisdoms. They are associated with different colors and different activities. Yeah. So to represent that, the deities appear in different color. Yeah. So the green color is, I think, the color of what you call is not Ratna Sambhava, but Amoghasiddhi. So yeah, I find this. There is a chart, and I find it very difficult to remember. So sorry about that. But each color stands for a particular wisdom, a particular emotion, a particular element. So these are easy to find online. So therefore, I pay less attention.
Can you summarize a practice we should do in everyday activity in post-meditation? I'll reread the question. Can you summarize a practice we should do in everyday activity in post-meditation? After meditation, what
after meditation. Yeah. So I will not summarize, but I will repeat what Garchen Rinpoche always teach. So there are two very important practice that we should do all the time, whether we are practicing or working. Okay, mindfulness and loving kindness. Okay, so Rinpoche says, if you have these two qualities, then you can turn your ordinary work into the practice of the 6 paramitas. Let's suppose, you have 2-3 children, or you have a partner. Yeah? So you serve breakfast in the morning. You be mindful enough and kind enough to serve this with love. Okay, serve the breakfast, with a genuine intention to, give pleasure to that person, happiness to that person. Then that is generosity. If you think, oh, this is my duty and I hate it, and cook, and without mindfulness, just like a robot, if you serve, then you work hard, but there is no merit, not so much merit. If you do it with kindness and with mindfulness, serving breakfast to your wife or husband or children becomes a practice of generosity. Okay, and to maintain the mindfulness and kindness in this way, that is moral ethic. And sometimes, if things are not very easy, you be mindful enough to be patience, and to try to do this all the time. This is diligent effort. Okay. So when you go on doing this in ordinary activities, the mind improves a lot. Day by day, the mind becomes more and more, malleable, and then you can meditate very easily. And when you can meditate easily, vipassana, or special insight, which is wisdom, it is a byproduct. You meditate in, it grows in that vipassana, So therefore, Jigten Sumgon used to, use his left hand all the time for everything, because we have habit of using the right hand. right? So if we want to pick up something, we pick up like this without mindfulness, right? Without mindfulness, do everything. Most people do with the right. So he was using his right normally, but to practice mindfulness, he did himself and taught his disciple to do everything with the left. So therefore, if you see Jigten Sungwon's tanka, yeah. So normally the upper garment, has what you call the pocket from the right side, yeah. But his is from the left side. Okay. And I also noticed that this is taught in the Kala Chakra also. So it was not like Jigten Sungwon's invention, but it is also taught in the Kala Chakra. And then he says, like for example, I'm sitting now. Okay, if I'm not mindful, then I will just walk and go by habit, right? So if I'm a practitioner of the left, then I will first use the left foot to step. So Jigten Sungwon says, when you go on the cushion, left foot first. Okay, when you stand up and walk, left first. So many times you forget and fail, right? So when you do this for a period of time, then your mindfulness improves. Mindfulness is one of the things Jigten Sungwon really stressed. When Jigten Sungwon was teaching, like thousands of disciples he had, so he used to do in the middle of the teaching, do like the palm like this, and he says, mindful, mindful, mindful. Like something like Garsen Rinpoche does, Manam Kadanya Besem Jan Tamje Deva Dang Deve Gyudang Demba Gyurchi. He says very loud. This is a very profound instruction. We have to be mindful of that. Right? And Jigten Sungwon says, the ultimate Buddha, who is endowed with the 10 powers. Not sorry, that not the okay, the main path of the Buddhas of the 3 times, the highway, okay, the main path of the Buddhas of the 3 times is uninterrupted mindfulness. If you do not have uninterrupted mindfulness, then your body and speech being very busy will lead nowhere. Okay, so if the mind is not mindful, then you recite 100,000 Vajrasattva, 100,000 Vajrayogini, and lots of prostrations, okay, with distraction. It's still good, but it's not very powerful. Okay, same thing Shantideva says. I think I recited this yesterday also. I don't remember correctly, but I can say again. Shantideva says the mantra recitations and the ascetic, like practice of the ascetics. One may do that for a long time. But if one does that with a distracted mind, then the knower of suchness, he means the Tathagata, the knower of suchness has said it's meaningless. Okay? So therefore, Jigten Sungwon says uninterrupted mindfulness. Uninterrupted mindfulness means mindful when you are walking, mindful when you are cooking, mindful when you are speaking. So if you can bring that in your nature, you will be very precise in what you say and what you write and what you do. You will become a great artist. So therefore, it is important to not restrict the practice to the temple only. You can practice mindfulness everywhere. I can share with you one thing. I was in Singapore with Garsen Rinpoche, and he asked me to write something to someone, I think an email or something. So I was typing very fast. I'm quite good at typing. So I was like this, and suddenly somebody touched my shoulder like this. I looked back, and it was Garchen Rinpoche. And he told me, you are doing one mistake. If you fix that, your typing will become meditation. And I said, what is that? And Rinpoche said, your mind, your attention is 100% lost on the screen. That is why it is not meditation. He says 50% you keep for yourself, 50% you give to the screen. Okay? Then your typing is meditation. And I try to remember that when I'm still typing a lot, So I fail and then try again, like that.
Our next question is, what is samadhi and how to reach it?
What is samadhi? Okay. So maybe I can quote one shloka by Shantideva in the 8th chapter of Bodhisattva Charyavatara. Shantideva says, with special insight, which means vipassana, yeah, with special insight, accompanied by calm abiding. It means the union of shamatha and vipassana. Okay. It is possible to eliminate all afflictions. Okay. But in order to have vipassana or special insight, one has to first cultivate shamatha. Okay. Shamatha means calm abiding meditation. Shamatha is one-pointed meditation. And in order to practice shamatha, it is important to free the mind from attachment. If our mind is attached to too many things, it's not possible to meditate. Okay, so we have to reduce. That is why renunciation is important. Yeah? We have to make life simple. Like Shantideva, Shantideva was known as a Kusala because he did only 3 things: eating, sleeping, and going to toilet. That's what people thought. But he did only 3 ordinary things. The rest was all meditation. People thought he was sleeping in the room. He was only coming to eat, going to toilet, and go back to the room. In Nalanda, everybody thought, he sleeps the whole time. Right? But he did only 3 worldly things. Everything else was dharma, right? So answering to the question, so in order to meditate, we have to reduce our attachment for this life through practice of impermanence, thinking about precious human life, thinking about the defects of samsara and so on. So when the mind kind of become convinced that this life alone is not reliable. It's not reliable. If it was reliable, okay, we can hope. Yeah? But it's not reliable. It is changing every moment. So therefore, then the mind is convinced, and then it's very easy to meditate. And when you meditate, okay, and when you reach one-pointedness means your mind remain on one point without any effort, spontaneously. That is shamatha. Shamatha means the mind of the desire realm becoming fixed on one point naturally. That is shamatha. Okay, so when you reach to that kind of a level, it is called samadhi. It is samadhi can all in Sanskrit. Samadhi also means like death. Samadhi also means death. The graveyard is also called samadhi because it's an end of distraction. You are in a state where there are no distraction, no wavering. Okay, and that is the best field for the discriminating wisdom of emptiness to unfold.
We have about 10 minutes left, so we have maybe a couple of short questions.
Yep.
Can we practice white Tara for going to sleep or waking, or must it be Chenrezig?
No, you can choose any deity, doesn't matter. Tara, Avalokiteshvara, Medicine Buddha, Amitabha, Yogini, doesn't matter. So if there is no question, I can read a song of Milarepa and translate the essence for you. Garchen Rinpoche caught something from that song this morning. I couldn't hear very well that one. He caught one stanza, but he was not very clear. So I was not sure which one, So I couldn't translate that time. So if you want, I can. It's a very short song. I can just, give you the essence of each stanza. It's very beautiful. I think Garchen Rinpoche is one of his favorite because he quotes a lot from that. Okay, so here Milarepa is now singing the song. Yeah, he says, "Dinchen marpe jabladu." It means, I bow down to the feet of the kind Marpa, his guru. Yeah, please bless so that the antidotes in my mind are perfect. So he was singing this to a group of women. So you, the faithful, you, the devoted ladies, when you practice the Dharma every day, in your mind, meditate on calm abiding. Okay, you meditate every day, meditate calm abiding. And he says, for that practice, getting rid of activities is an ornament. It means like it's a cherry on the cake. In English you say, right? Every day you practice shamatha. And when you do that, if you reduce your activities, if you let go of your activities, I have to cook, I have to write, I have to do this, then that is a cherry on the cake for that practice. I don't know if this translation is good enough. But literally he says, it is a great ornament for that practice. Okay? And then he says, externally, hold always the antidote with vigilance. Okay? What it means is when you are with the people outside, when you are not meditating, be careful, always have the antidote in your mind. Anger arises, you have awareness. Recognize this is anger, it dissolves. Always carry the antidote, And he says, and for this practice, slowing down your body and speech is an ornament. Slowing down in your physical movements, and speech. Have control. Don't just jump. Don't just shout. Okay. Have some balance in what you do with the body and speech. That is an ornament. And then he says, at all times, keep your mindfulness, alive. Okay. For this, having only a few things to do is an ornament. So if you keep yourself too busy with too many things, then it's not possible to maintain mindfulness. Okay? So nowadays in the modern world, people have no time. So reduce what you do. So he says, when you are in a situation, bad situation, okay? So be cautious, okay, that anger might arise in your mind. When something is going wrong, be cautious that anger may arise in my mind. When you encounter wealth, money, wealth, be cautious that desire may arise in your mind. When you hear very harsh words from others, when others abuse you, be cautious that your mind may get confused or influenced by that. When you are with your friends or companions, be cautious that you might feel jealous. When people pay you respect, be cautious that you may develop pride. At all times, tame the demon which is within yourself. Whatever you do, the 4 activities, it means sitting, walking, sleeping, and just hanging, going for a walk. Okay, so the 4 whatever among the 4 activities you do, whatever you encounter, whatever you see or appear to you, think of that as illusion. So Milarepa says at the end, even if you open the mouth of 100 scholars, there will be no more necessary teaching than this, no more profound advice than this. So therefore, rejoice that you hear this teaching and put my advice into practice. Sorry, the translation was not very good, but so we all practice calm abiding, I guess, right? So we practice calm abiding, but also we have too many obligations. We cannot let go of that. Maybe I have to meet my friends, I have to go to the club and go to swimming pool, gym, and for ice cream, and I have to. There are a lot of things. Maybe check the message and WeChat, whatever. So all this we don't reduce. So therefore, Milarepa says, if you can reduce that too, then that will be like a cherry on the cake. Right? So, yeah, the translation was not very nice, but I hope you got the message. Okay, so I think it's 5 already, and thank you very much for your patience. and we do the dedication, right? Yeah. So we will. I will not read the text for transmission because Garcia Rinpoche says you don't need, right? You can practice without. So maybe we recite one dedication prayer and the long life prayer of Garcia Rinpoche, His Holiness, only in English. Do you have? Yeah. Wait a minute. Where is it?
There is one comment I'd like to make about questions before we do the dedication. For those who asked questions and we did not get to them, we now have a Sunday afternoon question and answer session that we're starting with Khenpo Tamphel, and that will start next Sunday at 4 p.m. Local time, and it will be live streamed and it's also Zoomed. So if your questions did not get answered, you can attend the Zoom session and get your question answered. Thank you.
Just do any dedication you like. I don't find in here.
Okay, just the bodhicitta is always good, right? Mm-hmm. So on the 28th page, we can read it in English. Mm-hmm. May bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase, higher and higher. And the long life prayers on page 20. Mm-hmm. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, Lord Chenrezig, may your life remain steadfast until the end of samsara. Embodiment of the three jewels, great being who upholds and increases the teachings of the Shakya line, you perfectly guide others with your excellent deeds. May you, the precious Guru, who accomplishes everything spontaneously, live long. Holder of the teachings of great Lord Ligupara, great sovereign of the three jewels, through the power of your peerless compassion and the holy Dharma's peaceful light, you bring relief to beings. May your life be long. Known in the noble land as Ayadeva, you emanated into the dark land of eastern Tibet as Jodikpa, the hard son of Jinten Gonpo. May the life of glorious Gachen remain steadfast for 100 eons. 26. May the teaching of the great Drigungpa Ratna Shri, Master of Inner Dependence, Omniscient Lord of Dharma, who has seen all noble things, be upheld through teachings and practice, through hearing, reflecting, and meditating
until the end of existence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We collect the text, the Guru Sadhana, called Light Amassment of Blessings, because we don't need it for tomorrow. Thank you.
Just a few short announcements, please.